Welcome back to the Pro Football Pod, Week 3 in the books. Dolphins, 70 points, high-scoring offense. Not of all time, but could have been. Could have been. Did you guys get any victories this week?
7-0, that was my victory.
That was your victory? Legitimately
7-0.
0?
7-0 was my
Because
victory.
he has all
70.
Mosterts.
That's the only victory I need right there.
Well, there you go.
So I played in every league that matters, which is like 4 leagues. I had Mostert starting against me in all of the leagues. I know you're one of the
No.
leagues, Justin. Yeah.
Yep, I have
In
him.
four-
I started
in
him
three
in every
different,
league I have him in.
I mean, he's in every
3
week
different
start at this point.
platforms.
That's an easy discussion.
100%.
If you're not starting Mostert, then you didn't watch the football games on Sunday, or at least missed the Dolphins game.
Well, at this point too, and I mean, we'll get into it with our waiver wire guys, but it's Devon Achane now. But like it's to the point to where, and I think I think I discussed this with you, Colby, to where we're starting to see the Dolphins' offense is starting to morph more into that what the 49ers were, to where they're able to supply multiple running backs, and the run game is so efficient that everything on the passing game just opens up to where Tyreek Hill is just wide open versus that defense, and Jalen Waddle is out. So the one person that should not be open is open.
I mean, dude, that touchdown.
The year. I mean, come on now.
The touchdown was not supposed to happen whenever they have Braxton Berrios and Craycraft is the only other guys on the field. Chosen didn't even play until everybody was. Oh no, I'm sorry. He was there because he was what drew them down. They were so afraid of Chosen that they gave Tyreek a 54-yard touchdown. Like,
that's what it was. That's what it was.
Oh man. So I mean, we had a huge week. A lot of people are calling for Vance Joseph's job, and I think that that's unfair. I think that the Dolphins offense really got to show that whenever they play mistake-free football and they're able to put the pedal to the metal, the only thing I have against the Broncos is the fact that the second time we ran the exact same shuttle play, we scored again from further away with Achane for a second time. So I think that that was a massive mistake. But other than that, man, I mean, their offense was getting the ball popped out by Javon Holland like every other play, dude. It was crazy.
But it's also, though, I mean, you got to look at the games before. Like, you allow over 35 points to a Sam Howell-led Washington Commanders team, and it's for however well I think Sam Howell is playing. But still, my thing is it's just kind of, the first 2 weeks were okay, maybe a little bit, but you allow 70 points, like 10 touchdowns on your head, 5 touchdowns in each half. That's insane. Like, that's just complete ineptitude, complete inefficiency. And for me, like, yes, you don't want to call for somebody's job, but he's absolutely on the hot seat. If the Broncos do not win this next game, and for any reason at all, it has to do with the defense, I think he's gone. I think he has to be.
Back it up to y'all's running back room. I think your starting running back should be Achane. Achane. Like Jackie Chan.
But he's Achane. He's one of them.
Hell yeah, though. That man runs the fucking rock, and he's a young gun. So like, definitely start that motherfucker. That's how.
I hear what you're saying,
think.
Austin. I think because Mostert,
he even did, like, if you watch the game, like he did kind of start
rushing.
But see,
he was the one that
as the change of pace back. Like, you make him your feature back, that's a little bit different. But as your change of pace back, because he's such a small lightning rod, it just when I went back and was rewatching the game earlier today, because I was at the zoo with the family yesterday, so didn't really get to watch the whole thing. There was so many options in plays where Mostert and Achane were on the field at the same time. And it was one of them was going in motion. And to me, it was just, okay, so Waddle's out. What kind of chess pieces can I do with this game? And the first 3 weeks of this season, every gripe Dolphins fans had with McDaniel last
Is
year
over.
of not being able to adjust, not being able to scheme for team specific type of stuff. He has ran a different game plan all 3 weeks, specific to the defense he is playing and for what he has available on the field for him. And it's just, I mean, it's one of those where as a Dolphins fan, you're just kind of waiting for something to happen. But I mean, at this point, dude, it's just, I'm just riding the wave. It's exciting. Everything is pointing to a magical season for Miami right now, and it's awesome to watch.
Now, let me ask you guys a question before we move on from this topic. So, next week, you have Devon Achane in your lineup. You're putting him up against the Bills. Now, as Dolphins fans, we know what the Bills are, and the Bills just embarrassed Washington, but it's Washington. They're not the best offense in football. Are you confidently going to put Achane in as an RB2? Or are you only going to put him in as a flex option if it's necessary? Because it's not a great matchup. Last week was, on paper, one of the best matchups that we've had this season against teams like for the running back. So what do you guys think?
I would definitely start him. I mean, dealing with like running backs like the Jets backfield and certain backfields in the NFL right now, it's pretty rough. Like,
So
I mean,
let me
Tyler Algier is not popping. Like,
let me follow up on that. If you already have a Joe Mixon and like
Josh
Ramondre
Jacobs.
Stevenson isn't a good one, but like a Josh Jacobs, somebody that like, well, no, you wouldn't have both. But if you had like Saquon and Joe Mixon, first and second round, you went running back. Are you gonna take Achane and put him in that lineup above those guys?
Saquon's not playing, so yeah, 100% I would do that.
Saquon's not necessarily not playing this week. He might come back from the ankle injury already.
Yeah, he might.
FYI.
So the way I see it is with all of the injuries, especially to the running backs we've seen this year, more than likely Achane is worth the roll of the dice as a flex spot for me, for sure. If you start him, it's not like you deserve any kind of hate or anybody to shit on you or anything, because even though it is Buffalo and they held Josh Jacobs to negative yardage, like I just got done saying, we've seen the way McDaniel has been able to scheme up these teams here. And so for me, I don't see why anything would change. He just added another piece to his arsenal. And I don't see why all of a sudden he's, okay, well, you're just going to get like 3 touches this next game.
Exactly. I mean, bro, like, watch the fucking tape. The man is a monster. And he's
Austin,
fast as lightning.
We're trying to watch the F-bomb, son.
Sorry about that. But he's special. So I have a question for you guys. Like, my running back, the only running back I could drop off my team is basically Breece Hall. Or I could drop, like, Christian Watson to pick up Achane.
You don't drop Christian Watson because Romeo Dobbs hasn't solidified that he's the number one in that offense, and Jordan Love has looked solid without Aaron Jones and without Christian Watson. Whenever their whole offense is back, it could be an electric offense. I would say that if I had a Jags player, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, or Calvin Ridley, I'm looking to get rid of people off of that offense. Like, I'm not ready to let go of the Green Bay offense. They look like they're trending upwards in every way. So,
yeah, no, it's just, I mean, you didn't answer my question at all. I was trying to drop Breece Hall.
That, I need to know real
so
quick.
like,
am I in one of those leagues you're describing?
No.
Okay. So outside opinion on that, strategy on my side, I try to trade one of those guys.
But if you're talking about a waiver wire pick, you don't have time for trading. Like, we're talking about, I only have like 5 guys on my bench, and like, I got to drop a guy.
Are you?
I have the number 1 waiver wire. Yes.
Oh, then.
So it's a guarantee.
Who else do you have on your bench?
Okay.
Who else is on your bench?
I got George Pickens, Breece Hall.
I love that you tried to drop Christian Watson instead of George Pickens. I love that you did that. I love it.
Why would you drop George Pickens? That man's a monster.
You wouldn't, but I'm saying you would never drop Christian Watson. I get he hasn't played a snap, but that's the reason you don't drop him. That guy's on, a top offense, and he's electric. He's 6'4", one of the fastest guys.
No, I get it. I don't want to drop him. I wish I could put one of these guys in the IR slot. So my bench is Anthony Richardson, Breece Hall, Jalen Waddle, George Pickens, and Christian Watson. And Jordan Addison is in the wide receiver slot for
It's a solid
Waddle.
bench.
It really is, but that's why it's hard. I think Breece Hall his time is up. Like,
it's not a dynasty league, is it?
No, I would say that you drop Breece Hall. Then
Super flex league.
Of everything you just said, like Breece Hall's obviously not on a good offense. He's never going to be up for the rest of the season. They're never going to be in the lead, so he's never going to get 20 carries. He's barely getting 15. And Dalvin Cook exists as well.
This is what we were talking about last week, and I dropped Dalvin Cook for Javonte Williams, and he got 8 points compared to Dalvin's 2. So,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's paying off, slowly but surely.
Now, back to what you were just saying. Buffalo Bills coverage is number 1 in the league right now, and their run defense is number 22. So I think that you're completely right. The game plan should be based off of us using their linebackers and abusing them, because their coverage has been, the best in the league. No one's been able to throw on them. So I think that that's a very good point. Achane. We're going to get that there, baby. Achane would definitely be a start with that information.
The guy I just played this week had Mostert, and, that could have really helped out this week. 51 points compared to 47.
Yeah, that would have been
That's
a big
absurd
difference
from those two running backs.
So, what happened to Dallas? Was it the desert? I didn't get to watch that game, Austin. So
my thing is
recap. What the problem
I didn't
was?
realize Trevon Diggs meant so much to that defense.
You didn't, bro? Come on,
Austin.
bro.
Last episode, you were just saying
I'm gonna be real.
You were questioning whether y'all should be paying him what he's paying, and come on now.
I know, I really was, but they really just targeted where Trevon Diggs played, and just straight up targeted that area of the field, and they used it to their advantage. They really did. But to do that kind of work on that defense and for our offense not to do anything was just absurd. Those guys got some fire in their gut. You're talking about pew, 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 pew. Explosions.
You got that fire in your gut? You ride
Austin,
the bus here this morning?
My biggest question is what happened with the offense. I'm going to go back and rewatch that game tonight or tomorrow, because CeeDee Lamb, he had a decent amount of targets, but not enough. Not for them to be down and look at Keenan Allen with 18 receptions and 25 targets and 218 yards. That's a team that's losing and trying to come back.
They got the number 1 quarterback in the league right now. So
fantasy wise, that's true. But I don't know. That's my question. Was it the running game? Was they were trying to overly utilize the running game and it was failing? Or they were just remaining too balanced throughout the game?
Yeah, they thought they just had the game no matter what, even down to the last 5 minutes. They're like, "Oh no, we'll bring it back. We'll bring it back," and it was just too late at that point.
Cardinals are trying to lose.
It's any given Sunday.
They're down at the half.
I agree completely. I'm not trying to come hard.
Pollard still has 23 carries. But my thing too is Dak still attempted 40 passes. That is a lot of offensive plays there. And you only put up 16 points. So to me, it's more of hat tip to the Cardinals.
It really
they
was.
were prepared. The Dallas, I think Dallas just completely overlooked them coming into their house, and
which happens a lot with
one of those any
teams,
given Sunday type of days.
Teams. You saw it last year with
Josh Dobbs had an incredible day.
You saw it was decent. The way he was,
it was
when he needed it,
for 189
he got it.
yards.
When he needed it, though, he got it. The ball was just going his way.
And the thing is and I wonder, it's a copycat league, but the Cardinals just kept running right at Micah Parsons. Just take away the pass rush ability because you're just running right at him. And yes, these dudes are still football players and still want to lay a lick, but these pass rushers, much rather just do that, rush the pass, than
They want
have
to
to
pin their
deal
ears
with
back.
any type of they
And
don't
that's
want to be
where
a run stuffer.
That's where I hate that he's stuck on that line. I would love if we could just move him back to linebacker just to adjust. Do it for a couple plays and see how it goes. Like, don't just
Yeah.
let
The
him
first
ride
2
there
weeks
and
of
let
the
us
season-
get run over.
The first 2 weeks of the season, it looked like he was going to be the best pass rusher in the league and the best defensive end in the league if he just stayed there 100% of his snaps. I think that
He
we
still
got to
is
see,
at that
well,
position.
we just got to see a little bit of his limitations, though. I think
He
that
still
we're
had
going
a
to be
sack.
able, and he still looked good. He still made a couple tackles from behind the line. You know, like there were instances where he still was able to control the game. But I agree with you, Austin. I was saying that in the offseason. Why are they going to make him put his hand in the dirt every time? He could be so disruptive as a linebacker. Not in coverage. I still want him rushing in almost every play. But we'll see. We'll see if
I
they
just
start
want
to
him.
utilize him a little
I
bit
just
different.
want him to have the ability to
trust
cover
Dan
sideline
Quinn.
to sideline.
Agreed. I trust Dan Quinn. He's such a good defensive coordinator.
Well, especially with Diggs being out, I think he is going to realize like we need some help in coverage and we need his athleticism back there. So I don't think it's going to take away like, all right, well, let's just completely bail
Repeat
from
that.
him rushing so much.
Repeat that.
Which part?
What you just said.
Repeat what you just said. Repeat yourself.
So I
muted.
trust Dan Quinn because I think that he's going to realize, okay, we need the athleticism back here to be able to compensate for the coverage that we've lost. While also, okay, if he's back here, he can still rush the passer, but he doesn't necessarily have to be the first person to take on the block whenever it comes to having to shed the run. So it's just going to be a matter of a chess piece with him. Like I said, I think it was a matter of any given Sunday on the road, and the Cardinals just got the best of him at home.
Straight up.
Now, on a fantasy point, Los Angeles Chargers versus Minnesota was exactly what we said it was going to be. You heard it here first that both of these defenses were horrible and we're going to give up a bunch of points. It took Minnesota a little while to get going. I feel like the Chargers players were getting points right away, but Addison still ended with over 10. Hawkinson is the best tight end in football right now for fantasy. And
Actually, that would be Sam Laporta.
Yeah, about to say, hold your horses, boy.
so I had
After
Sam Laporta.
this Sunday, it would be Sam Laporta as far as like yards and catches and all those statistics. He's freaking balling.
He is, which makes me super pissed that I had the option of him.
I dropped
And,
him week 1, bro, because I
remember.
needed to make space for like somebody, like a linebacker or something.
Nah,
like
Hawkinson
Bro.
has
because we have an
in a-
IDP league.
That was
in a
one of
half-
the in week 1 when I saw him perform. He just looked so smooth and crisp. I was like, "That's a dude," and I've kept him. Like he's
In
a
a
dog,
half
and he's
PPR.
showing it.
Hawkinson has 39, Laporta has 35. I have both of them in my dynasty league, but so yeah, Hawkinson still does have the lead slightly in a
Okay.
half PPR. I don't know in a full. Well, he's got more receptions, more touchdowns. He's just got like 6 less yards.
Iowa is tight end you, and I will hear
Dude.
no arguments on that.
No arguments about it at all, ever.
I will fight somebody that wants to argue that with me.
I
Like,
can't
we
believe-
fisticuffs in my driveway.
that I got Sam Laporta so late, and now I'm just gonna get to like trade Hawkinson away for a running back because I need a running back so bad. Everybody needs tight ends. Nobody except for the guy that has Kelsey, and the guy that has Andrews is freaking out right now. So I'm gonna get something solid for Hawkinson.
Of Andrews. I also have
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts in my dynasty, and I started Jake Ferguson over him this week. So tells you all of what I think about Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
Now,
that was
So
a good
anybody
call.
in my dynasty listening to this, he's available for sale.
He's on the trade block. By
Yeah,
the way,
he's
speaking
a-
of trade block, Sleeper Fantasy, dude, the trade block and the way that whole system works needs to be implemented across all platforms.
That's
It
why
is
we were
perfect.
telling you to only use that platform when starting a
I'm
league.
going to in the future. If you're listening,
Hashtag
I'm
no
only
ads.
using only Sleeper. I love it. Mike Williams did tear his ACL on some harsh news. Let's talk waiver
So that's
wires
done
real
for
quick, just
season,
based off
yeah.
of he's done for the season for sure.
That's right.
Now, most people are going to
Called
run
it.
out there and pick up Quentin Johnson because he is the Mike Williams. He's the exact same type of player. He should be able to slot right in. I think that Palmer isn't as splashy of a play, but is a slightly smarter pickup. He already had like 6 targets, 4 receptions for 60 yards and a touchdown this week with everybody
Herbert
there.
trusts him.
We were just talking about him last week. Like, nobody's been talking about him, and then boom, there he is. He's back. And I told you, to watch out for him and Quentin Johnson, because the injuries with these receivers is just baffling. It happens every single year with these 2 receivers.
Situationally,
wait for Keenan's time.
If you have a solid core, that team that Austin was describing earlier, where he's trying to pick up Achane, like if you have a team like that and your bench is super covered too, and you're just trying to drop one more and pick up someone like, I would get Quentin Johnson. I wouldn't go for Josh Palmer. Josh Palmer's the safer pick, but we have no idea what Johnston's ceiling is going to be.
What's both of their availability percentage? Because I'm almost willing to think that Quentin Johnson is probably on more rosters just because of the rookie hype. Like, everybody likes getting rookies on their squad and stuff like that, to where I honestly don't know if Quentin Johnson is as available as Josh Palmer will be.
Joshua Palmer's available, but Quentin Johnson is not, because of that hype on the rookie. I mean, you're talking about a guy coming out of camp looking like a Julio Jones type. So, yeah, a lot of people snagged him up.
That is a lofty comparison.
It's really not. It's really not. Watch week 4, baby. I said it and I'll say it again.
Did we lose Colby? Did we lose Coach?
I'm still here. I'm just trying to see what his availability is. Oh, that's right. He's a wide receiver. That's why.
Yeah, so Joshua Palmer in Sleeper is 5% owned.
So while he's looking
Quentin
that
Johnson
up,
is
let's just go ahead and throw it out
No,
there.
in
Because
Sleeper, Quentin Johnston is only 6% owned, Austin. I'm looking right now.
Oh, wow.
That's why I wanted to look it up.
It says 51% rostered on my thing.
52% rostered, but 6% started. My bad. You're right.
Yeah.
But it's only 52%, dude. That's a waiver wire target.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a waiver wire
that's
target.
Deep leagues have him, and like leagues like our Dynasty would have him. But I think that again, if you need a receiver to start this week or next week or even 3 weeks from now, do not get Quentin Johnston. But if you don't need him, and you have a slot of somebody that's been underperforming, you've got a Brandon Cooks, someone that you're just like not even sure what you're going to do with this guy, and he's just a reliability target, then drop him for someone splashy. That would be my advice. But do you guys have anything else to say about Chargers, Minnesota?
So the one thing I do want to touch on, though, just in the general scope of, just football, is this game was huge because, loser of this game is 0-3 either way. And so for me, the Chargers, I feel like Brandon Staley kind of extended his life another week. Justin Herbert, I mean, 40 of 47, 405 yards. Now, the guy did throw like 17 passes that were under 5 yards, which is just an insane amount of screens. But my thing with the Vikings, we talked about their record last year being a complete sham and all these close games, and we're seeing it come back and bite them now. Is this possibly the last season of Kirk?
It seemed like it should be based off of watching them.
Like with this quarterback class,
it just doesn't seem like he's getting any better.
Top pick. Like, why do you not look to move on? Like, you've been paying Kirk nothing but guaranteed money, and what have you got out of it?
I mean, he's got like the most passing yards on the year so far.
Oh, cool.
But that's not winning.
But that's all he's doing. I know. I get it.
0-3. Like, that doesn't matter. That's when it boils down. You can have all the stats you want to have, but when you're 0-3,
it's not his fault.
And you've got Justin Jefferson.
His defense is.
The defense is trash.
Soft.
Trash. Madison looked much better this game. Give it to him there. I said to sit him. He showed out. Great job.
He's got some fire behind him with the Cam Akers.
If you showed up to the Sunday show, then you heard here first, start Madison because he was going to go off. Now, I also told you to start Joshua Kelly, and that'll be the last time ever. For me as well, like he proved to us that he's useless. I started him in only one of the 2 leagues that I have him, luckily. And I started Jerome Ford in the other one, and Jerome Ford went off. like a beast. So Joshua Kelly, never ever playing in one of my rosters ever again. I'm dropping him because it doesn't matter what the matchup is. He had the easiest matchup he's going to have all season, and he put up like 4 or 5 points. Like, just no efficiency. Once Eckler's back, then they've got a real running back.
I guess another waiver wire pickup could be Darnell Parham, the tight end for the Chargers.
I like that, Austin. He's kind of screwing over
he's
everyone
very
that has
touchdown dependent,
Yes.
but I do like that
Super.
because I mean
I
he's
mean, all
the
every other
targets
week is
are
good for
open.
one. Dude's 6'8". He's like LeBron out there playing tight end.
He's got as many touchdowns on the year as your boy Muth, and Muth is super touchdown dependent as well. So in a lot of ways, he's at least on a high flying offense.
Most tight ends are like. Let's
compared
just
to
be
Muth.
honest.
Like comparing Parham to Muth is on potentially the worst offense in football. Parham is on one of the top 5 with the highest, one of the highest paid quarterbacks. So there's a lot of arguments for going after guys like that. I think that he's not even one to stream. I might even just pick him up and hold on to him. And if in the next 3 weeks he doesn't get a touchdown, then I'm easily ready to drop him.
Yeah.
Now,
but it's also one of those things to where you got to be wary of what you're dropping for him as well.
Exactly.
So Stroud was not the first quarterback taken and has played in 3 games. Tank Dell looks like an absolute beast. And I picked him up in 2 leagues last week without having to spend a waiver wire. Those are the types of moves that win championships, by the way. What do you guys think of Stroud? Do you think Rookie of the Year, we just stamp him right now, or does he still?
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
What? You got to hold your horses over there with them Colts, boy, and Anthony Richardson. Come on now. Just because he's got brain injury doesn't mean he's doesn't.
The problem is like in the matter of if Stroud finishes the season without missing a game, he's going to get Rookie of the Year. He performed the entire season. And as much as it sucks and as effective as Anthony Richardson might be, the Colts just won without him.
Yeah,
that's true.
They
just beat the
Gardner
Ravens.
Minshew looked like a boss.
Yeah, and granted, they kicked 5 or 6 field goals. Like it was an insane amount of
over 50. Broke a record for most 50+ yard field goals in a day.
For as exciting as Anthony Richardson has been, though, I mean, you can't knock what Stroud's done. I'm pretty sure we talked about it last week. Third most passing yards through his first 2 weeks. Well, this week he hit the most passing yards through your first 3 weeks. Or no, I'm sorry, he's third in that now, behind Cam Newton and Justin Herbert. Like 2 of the greatest rookie seasons we've ever seen. So like he's balling, and the Texans defense looks good right now. Like
they did this against Jacksonville. Like Jacksonville, who barely lost to KC the week before. Jacksonville, who's been on a backslide, and I think that we should talk about that a little bit too. Like what our expectations of Jacksonville is from this point forward.
Well, hindsight on talking about them rookies, who do you think should be overall number 1 pick? Would you rather CJ or Bryce?
Now, I'm not going to go ahead and change everything I said about Bryce being the better pure passer. But I think just with the way the Texans are using Stroud versus
so you think it's situational?
Yeah, it's situational as well. But I mean, you got to give it to him for the way they've both looked in the games that they've played. Stroud has looked better. Like, I'm not going to say he hasn't, but it's too early to say, oh man, like, do we regret this pick already? Like, again, we did the same thing with 2, and you got to give him 3 to 4 seasons before you start bailing. Like, even Justin Fields, it's getting to that point, but I don't think he's there yet to where you just completely jump ship.
There's people ready to drop him.
I'd understand if you do.
On fantasy, I'm not dropping him.
I'm not paying you in fantasy
necessarily, but I'm definitely not starting him anymore. Like I'm starting waiver wire guys like Baker Mayfield before I'm going to start Justin Fields. Like I'm going to look for matchups and I'm going to play a good one, but I'm not just starting Fields matchup dependent or not.
Well, whenever I draft Fields, I always draft a backup QB because you have to with those running quarterbacks. So, but I have Richardson, so it's 2 running quarterbacks. So one's out and then one's playing like shit.
Oh my gosh,
that's where that. And if I have Richardson, I might be willing to drop Fields to then play the streamer every week that I don't want to play Richardson. And whoever the streamer is for that week, instead of holding two quarterbacks, I might drop Fields. Yeah.
You said drop Fields. Okay.
Fields,
Yeah.
not Richardson.
Yeah. My bad.
I don't know if I'd drop Fields because there is somebody in your league that will trade for him.
That's a good point. I might try that first, but
like there is somebody that will trade for him.
Maybe.
But yeah, I don't want both of them on my squad for the simple predicament in what you're in right now. Because I don't see the Bears' offense getting any better.
I mean,
like,
at a certain point, they're gonna have to just let him ride.
I've dropped all Bears players. Like I had Cole Kmet, dropped him. Didn't even try to trade him. Darnell Mooney, dropped him. Not even trying to trade him.
DJ Moore.
I dropped Cole Kmet.
I don't have
DJ
Moore.
Week 1.
But any Bears players
if you had him, you would drop him.
If I had DJ Moore, would be the
I wouldn't drop DJ Moore. I have
beat.
DJ Moore in one league, and I won't drop him because
he's the one that like it chaps my ass that he's on my roster because I can't drop him.
Yeah,
exactly. I took him too early to drop, but he's the only one. Everyone else, even though you took Fields maybe a round or two before, I'm still dropping Fields because he's shown us nothing. But like Justin said, I would love to get a trade-off first. Now, another team that looks like the quarterback really isn't progressing. I think that in a lot of ways, the same exact situation. We expected Trevor Lawrence to take such a leap this year because he has so many pieces around him. He's got a second good running back. He's got another sick receiver gets added, and he didn't take any steps. He really looks like he's holding his team back.
I think his defense gave up on him that game, though. Like, his defense didn't help him out at all, you know? And it's hard whenever you're trying to fight from coming back like that.
Trevor he's not looking as efficient as he was last year. And last year you were seeing that, you know, first year with Peterson in his system and, you know, he's third year in the league. So you saw the leap that you wanted to see from him. Well, I guess last year was his second year, wasn't it? So with this being year 3,
first year in the system, like you said.
Yeah, but for this being year 3 and year 2, and with Peterson now, and injecting Ridley into that offense, you do expect to see a little more than what you're seeing right now.
Kind of
the
look
Jags
like the Dolphins.
Were far and away preseason favorites to win their division by a mile.
I mean, they were supposed to be one of the best offenses.
I don't know if that's the case.
If not the best offense in football. Like, name another team that has more pieces. Their tight end, Evan Ingram, their 2 top receivers, like their running back, their offensive line, like everything, their quarterback, they're prototypical in every way. Trevor Lawrence is exactly what everybody wants as a quarterback. And since he was drafted, other people have come out of the draft since him. He was supposed to be the big thing, and people are passing him by.
Peyton.
Since what?
Since Peyton Manning. He looks a lot like Peyton Manning. He resembles that, you know, tall stature, stands in the pocket, gunslinger.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, big, strong arm. Like, I think that part of it is the mental game. I feel like that's where he's not progressing, and it might not be a regression. He doesn't look like he's necessarily worse than last year. It's just that everyone else got better, and he didn't get better enough. That's what I think the real problem is.
It's players like Phillip Rivers. It's like you want to see that fire in him whenever he's playing, and it just seems like he's like a stoner on the field. He's like, all right, let's play the game, let's throw the ball, like, let's do it. But
now only
it just doesn't have that drive
that I was able to draft off of one of this offense was Calvin Ridley. I wasn't able to get Travis Etienne. I wasn't able to get I think I have Zay Flowers in one, and Zay Flowers is absolutely droppable in my opinion. Not because of Zay Flowers. Zay Jones, thank you. Zay Jones is droppable not because of him, but because of his team. He already had too many mouths to feed. And for him to be the priority target, I just don't see it. Not enough for me to want to hold on to him whenever there's other people that are going to be getting way more targets every game. So I'm not dropping Evan Ingram. I'm not dropping Christian Kirk. I'm not dropping Etienne. And I'm not dropping Calvin Ridley. But other than that, I'm definitely not just looking to hold on to these guys forever.
I don't have any Jags on any roster that I have. I don't know how it happened because but it just didn't fall to me that way because I wasn't big on ETN coming into this season because I thought that Tank Bigsby was going to come in and kind of vulture some stuff from him, which we've seen a little bit of that. But honestly, at this point, other than having Calvin Ridley, I'm kind of glad on that because it's looking like outside of him, everybody's just very boom or bust. And for, like you said, what was coming into the year, especially fantasy-wise, looking like a top 5 overall offense, like we're just not seeing it right now. Like we've said it's the first 4 weeks. It's only week 3. Like no need to absolutely panic. But it's one of those to where if you have stake of these players, their trade value's low right now, so you can't really trade them for nothing. So you're hoping for a big giant game, and then that way you can maybe sell out on them high and just try to recruit something out of it.
I think talking about like Monday Night Football, I think we need to everyone just needs to bet Jalen Hurts touchdown every single week.
Like
from
a
here on
rushing?
out. Yes.
I think it's not a bad call. You're not going to.
Yeah, he's like minus like 220 a week. He's like minus 220 every week to score a touchdown.
It was plus 110 this week.
He was even money this week?
Yeah.
That's insane.
I can't believe I didn't take it.
Yeah, if they get inside the 5, he's scoring a touchdown.
Yeah.
But that's where FanDuel's smart and they lock the bets as soon as it gets to the red zone. So
fantasy-wise, there was one more injury. Derek Carr sprained his AC joint. It doesn't look like it's season's ending. They haven't given a timeline that I've seen on how long until he's back. And to be honest, he's not extremely fantasy relevant. He was a matchup guy at best. So Jameis season's starting. I don't know if that means anything if I play Jameis. Of course they're showing Taylor Swift on the freaking broadcast right now. She's not even at this game. And that was at the Chiefs game.
It's because you have a Kelsey and a Swift on the Eagles.
Yeah. Wait, what? Oh, Swift? Oh, they're showing it now.
Yeah, Kelsey and DeAndre Swift.
Oh, so like they're dating too?
Yeah, Kelsey and Swift. It's all
That's
connected,
so
brother.
That's so funny.
You seen that?
Well,
the connections.
Yeah. So, 20-3, Eagles beating the Buccaneers with 9 minutes left in the third. Do we think that the Buccaneers are pretenders, or?
I think they're what we thought they were. Like, they're scrappy, but when it comes to playing the best teams in the league, they're going to show their true colors. Like, yeah, everybody freaked out because they beat the Vikings week 1, and now we see what the Vikings are. So it's like, was it really that impressive of a win?
Who'd they beat last week?
The Bears. So, the Vikings defense and the Bears defense, two of the bottom defenses in the league.
Then they run into the Eagles here in a rainstorm, and so they just aren't built for that.
And I mean, are they in Philly?
They're in Tampa.
They are in Tampa? Oh,
yep.
Man, that's not good for them.
It's pouring rain the whole game. So, I mean, what Tampa's offense versus that defensive line and that front seven for the Eagles, it's pretty much about what you expected. Like, the under was a good play. Under on Baker's passing yards was a great play. He's only at 87 right now. I think his passing yard total was set at 224.5, which I have no idea how.
I think the biggest thing we have to highlight is the unders are the biggest play when it comes to primetime games in the middle of the week.
Primetime unders are golden. Primetime unders are golden.
Because there's too many eyes watching them. And the players, it seems like they know that. But whenever they're playing on a Sunday, it's just like all the games are going and there's just shit happening. Stuff popping off, fireworks.
There's really no rhyme or reason for it. Like, yeah, everybody's watching, so it's like it's not necessarily like, oh, well, let's not show everything because the nation's watching. Well, any team's going to get the tape on you. NFL Plus gives us the all 22 like the next day. So, I mean, they're going to get it. So my thing, it's truly just baffling how just primetime unders, these people in primetime under the lights, I don't know if it's just nerves and, the kid in you is just wanting to perform on Monday Night Football. Because, I mean, you grow up just wanting to play on Monday Night Football. But it's just defensive showing, sloppy offenses a lot of the times. And, it doesn't help when you get weather like this, too.
Could it be because it's Monday and not Sunday and they're so used to playing on Sundays? Like,
I don't know if it's that. If anything, they're more rested.
I mean, it's a different day. It's a different mindset. It's Mondays. Nobody likes Mondays.
I think that one of the reasons that I love football so much with basketball, whenever it's a low-scoring game, it's seen as a failure because there isn't supposed to be good defense in basketball. You want 130 points from both teams, and that's what it is. But with football, whenever it's a low-scoring game, it's really because the defenses are playing very well. Like, someone is doing their job extremely well, no matter what. Either the offense or the defense. In that Broncos game, we got to see the Dolphins offense doing really, really good. And now we're getting to see, it's 6-3 in the Rams-Bengals game. Jeez. That's some defense. That's some, let them get down the field, hold them from getting the touchdown. That's not what we want to see. We're all about fantasy and bets and all those things, and we don't always bet the under. But you're saying, Austin,
you get people on both sides of that coin, though, because you'll have people that want to fight and argue and say, oh, I love a good 13-10 grind out victory. But dude, you can't tell me one of the best and most exciting games we've watched is the Rams and the Chiefs from a few years ago when it was 55-52 at the end of the game. That's insane. That's what people want to see. Points put people in the seats. Now, defense wins championships, but to me, you got to find a good, nice little happy medium. Give us a good, solid, kind of what if we saw better defensive teams, but kind of like what the Chargers and Vikings gave you, a good 28-25 game. Defense is making plays on this side, offense is messing up over here. But it's one of those to where you really, really have to love the game to see these low scoring battles and just have to just really love just watching and dissecting every play. Because even the best fans, they check out of a 6-3 ball game.
Straight up.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
completely.
hard.
Especially whenever it's a Thursday night game and they're always two bad teams and it's not even good plays are happening. Because I love a 40-yard run that still ends in a field goal. I love that. There's nothing wrong with that to me. We got down there. We got some points.
Still exciting. Yeah, I got you.
We still got to see it. It doesn't have to be a big, huge touchdown over the top. Has Puka Nacua done anything in this game? I haven't even checked.
So
he's up there around
box score on this
yards.
game right now shows Tutu Atwell has 2 targets, 1 reception for 37 yards, a carry for 22 yards. Puka has 3 receptions on 3 targets for 31 yards.
Nice.
Stafford's only thrown 11 passes. The Bengals have dominated the time of possession in this game so far.
But yeah, nothing on the board.
But 6-3. Yeah, bend don't break defenses out here for sure. Because the Rams have ran a total of 15 plays to the Bengals 27 plays.
Super Bowl matchup 2 years ago.
That's what it is. Yeah. Good call. Good job, Austin. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Put you on prime time. Take Scott Van Pelt out of there.
Damn right.
Looks like our Thursday night matchup this week is going to be a high-scoring, high-flying game. Detroit's going to Green Bay. I love a divisional matchup on Thursday because these two teams should score pretty high. They're both really good offenses. The Green Bay defense, I'd say, is better than the Lions so far this year. I've been expecting the Lions defense to clamp down a little bit and haven't really seen it. That's in the offseason, that's something I expected to take a big step for them was their defense.
Now, we just mentioned primetime games, unders. That does seem like a game that would hit the over, but I wouldn't be surprised if the under hit because of the divisional matchup, 2 good defenses,
versus
2 good offenses.
So.
Because he sat out this game, do we think Aaron Jones is set to play
100%.
this week?
He's 100%
Same
playing.
with
That's what
Christian
I
Watson.
thought. That's why they sat him out this
Exactly,
week. Is
and
to
they
make
still
sure.
ended up getting the win with sitting him out.
Well, my thing too is though, if you also sit him out this Thursday, that gives you an extra 10 days after that before your next game as well. So like it's just that much more health. So I would understand it also if they sat him on Thursday night. But, I think if he's fine, you get him back in there, knock whatever little bit of rust on that he might have developed over the last couple weeks, and then he has a 10-day break after that. So
on
fantasy
Thursday,
purposes, as an owner, I hope he plays.
on Thursday, it will have been 18 days since he pulled his hamstring. And he's already been coming back to practices. He's only had 2 limited last week on Thursday and Friday. So that's my big thing. I'm going to watch the injury report. Aaron Jones is a huge part of my dynasty team, so I need him to play. That might be where some of this confidence is coming from. But after watching this for the last 18 days, I'm pretty confident that he's going to play at this point. They've been so cautious with him, and they're still winning football games. So the Lions are favorited 1.5 points in Green Bay. I thought that was a little bit crazy.
So who we
wait,
got in that game?
Why would you
boys?
think it's favored? I mean, why would you think it's crazy? Elaborate on that a little bit.
The Lions have looked good, and Green Bay has looked good, and they generally give the home team the advantage because they're home. And
But
the fact
the Lions
that they're giving
have
the
looked
Lions home
better.
The Lions have looked marginally better.
Did you watch the Green Bay Saints game? If you didn't watch that game, the score to you will not make sense. I mean, it makes sense if you didn't watch the game. If you watch the game, the score is stupid. The way they won that game in the last 5 minutes of the game, they had no points on the board. It was 17-0, and they made a crazy comeback in the last minute of the game.
Yeah, so why is that
kind
a
of my
knock
point.
against them?
Yeah, that's kind of my point. Is like
that. Why is that a knock against them for making a comeback and pulling out?
They did that without
because
Christian
they only
Watson
did that because
and
Derek
Jones.
Carr went down. Like the Saints couldn't produce any more offense. Like they were getting shut out. I mean, I know they're playing a really good defense in the Saints, but the Lions are also a solid defense. You saw them
They're
shut out,
solid,
not
but
shut
they're
out,
not-
but like play decent. I mean, very well against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I'm just saying, like it makes sense
now
why
the
they're favored to
Packers
me.
being a home underdog, I do think is going to be like quote unquote a sharp betting pick. But yeah, I do understand the Lions being favored in this game. The Lions came into Lambeau last year versus Aaron Rodgers when the Packers needed to go to the playoffs, came out with a victory. The Lions,
and you got all
honestly
healthy players,
look better than they did last year. So, like, I don't see it being crazy for them being favored at all.
Amon-Ra has still got a turf toe injury,
but he played.
Now he looked good last week. I'm not saying
he played last week
like
and he looked good.
Yeah, but he's still not 100%. He's still injured. Aaron Jones is coming back from injury. If Christian Watson plays too, like, dude, I don't.
It's a different
that you
team.
Understand that exactly? Like that first
But I
week of Aaron
still
Jones.
put my money on the Lions.
That first week, I would have taken if the Packers played the Lions week 1. I think that the Packers win that game. Like with the Aaron Jones that they got week 1, if that shows up on Thursday night. I don't know what they're going to do. And he's had 18 days of just sitting with his Oakleys on, chilling. Straight chilling. So,
I feel you.
It's going to be an interesting game. Hopefully, it's a Thursday nighter, so we never know. It could end up being 12-6. That's just the life that we live sometimes.
Jordan Love's showing that he can do a lot more with his legs, too. Like, he's getting mobile with it.
Jordan Love looks good.
He does. He didn't look good the whole first 3 quarters of the Saints game, but
The Saints got a good.
he looked real good in that fourth quarter, I'll tell you.
Defensive scheme.
No, he really
Romeo
did.
Dubs was finally making some catches there at the end because I saw a couple of those plays.
Which what you want about Derek Carr going out and everything. For me to see Jordan Love be able to show the resolve to make the comeback in that game against that defense, because he's not playing against Derek Carr, he's playing against that defense. All he can do is what he can do.
Lattimore,
so he went out there, made the plays he needed to, put points on the board, and I mean, yeah, like to me, that's an exciting game. And I mean, if we just got to go ahead and call, who do you guys think wins that game? Go
I'm
ahead and
saying,
I think if Aaron Jones and Christian Watson play, I think the Packers. If it's just Aaron Jones, I think the Lions have a much better chance. But with both of those receivers out there, I don't know how their defense is going to be able to handle that. They haven't been able to handle DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Like they've been looking bad in situations. So I think that the Packers, if they're healthy.
I got the Lions.
I got the Packers.
I'll see y'all on the other side, baby.
I got the Packers. I'm sorry. Everything that Colby just said there is, I just think when it comes down to it, also don't take away from the fact that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson just went to the IR for the Lions as well. So that's a big hit to their defense, especially with Christian Watson coming back. That just takes away your over-the-top guy. So, I mean, it's oh, sorry, got distracted. Jalen Hurts just threw a pick right at the goal line. Antoine Winfield Jr. All right, so, but yeah, I got the Packers. I think they get it done at Lambeau at Thursday at home. And typically, we're talking about primetime games, Thursday night games, home team and unders. That's typically the way it goes, because on a short week, the home team's at home, they're more comfortable, they're not having to get out of their element as much. Yes, it's a short week and they're having to play on short rest, but it's not as bad as being the road team coming in there from, I mean, Detroit's not that far away, but
Who
it's
coaches
still
that team?
Oh,
Dan
Mr. Campbell.
Thank you. And I'll be eating chicken Campbell soup that day.
So, Tulsi Rose tea for all of your guys' tea needs. If you're still listening to the video, thank you for sticking around. Leave us a comment with any questions you guys have. We are going to do another live show on Friday. We're going to review all of the fantasy and all of the betting for week 4. It's the last week before before bye weeks, so it's the last free week where this advice is not going to be as necessary. And after that, you guys better tune in every week, because we're going to have so much information for you. There's going to be a live show on Sunday at 12 o'clock Eastern to give you guys all your start sit advice. Join live.
hit the noties.
Yes, hit the notification bells and all that stuff. Thanks for joining us.